Feeling friends is this concept that I came up with laying in bed one night. I have all these close friends who have these wonderful stories that can help change the world, life experiences that can help other people believe in themselves, hold tight to their dreams and make their dreams reality. On Feeling Friends, we talk about God, we talk about love, relationships. I have celebrity friends, I have non-celebrity friends. I have church members, family members. But when you watch and listen to Feeling Friends, you will learn and you will laugh. It's a community of friends helping to build each other up. So tune in to Feeling Friends every Sunday on WHCR 90.3 FM, or you can catch me on YouTube at Feeling Friends Radio. All right, I'll see you there. WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem. What's up, everybody? It's me, Phil, and I'm so happy to be back live on air with you, my friends. Listen, for those who are watching from YouTube, thank you for supporting us here on YouTube. Of course, all of these shows play live, pre-recorded on air live at the studio from 2 to 4 every Sunday. So thank you so much for supporting us. Today, I've got a great guest on this show, Ty McKery. We go back all the way to I was 18 years old. I believe she hired me for my first radio job outside of when I started, as you know, in Dallas doing radio at 16 years old. And then I went to Clark and I said, I don't know why I was nervous. And I believe she brought me on the station at WSTU when we were at Clark, Atlanta. But without further ado, I'm going to bring my friend Entertainment Executive. She's doing huge things out in LA, Ty McKery, to the show today. So let's welcome Ty. Hey, Ty, how are you?
Hi, I'm wonderful. You better bring me in.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome. And I appreciate you for having me on your
show. We appreciate you because what you're doing on social media. Every time I see you, I'm like, oh, this is just powerful. It's like you're not an old black lady in Mississippi, but it gives us like the comfort of a grandmother, of a mother vibes when you tell the story. And I appreciate you. So when we talked online, I said, absolutely, we got to get you here. So how you been doing?
I've been doing good. I think that everyone, and I say this to anyone, I think that everybody's been kind of acclimating to life post-pandemic. And even though it's 2024, it's still a period of like acclimation because things are different. Life is different. Absolutely. But in all of that, it's been amazing, actually. The transition for me has been way better than I could have predicted.
And I'm so happy. Listen, you were a power player when we were like 18 years old. I'm like, who's this? She really making it happen. Like, you had confidence way back then. You have a new book. And that's why you're here. Talk to You Nice.
Yes.
Is the name of your book.
Yes.
And before we get into that, let's talk about you. Let's go back.
Okay.
Let's go back to 2003. You were at Clark, Atlanta. I don't know if you had a show before me or you were the manager at WSTU. I don't know if you can go back that far.
Okay, hold on. Wait, let me reach. So 2003, Clark Atlanta University. I wanted to be a VJ. Let's keep it. But I want to be an executive or a VJ. That was the goal. And that's the reason why I went to the AUC in the first place.
Okay.
I found out that if I would have gone to Spelman, I would have had to, what's the word?
Register. Cross-register.
Yes, cross-register over at Clark. So I was like, well, why don't I just go to Clark? Because that's
right.
I'm going to Clark. So I went to Clark, and as soon as I did, I had the option to do the dance line or the radio show. And I said, oh, well, seeing as though I don't necessarily want to be a dancer, let's go for the radio show. Got there, made some cool relationships, and I've always been a facilitator. Yeah. I've always been someone who just, when I walk in the room, it's like, okay, well, what can be done? How can we make this better? Let's grow
absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
And there were people that were talented that were around that weren't in there. You were one of those people. And when you said, I was like, absolutely. Let's work. So I was 18.
Yeah, we were 18. I thought you were a senior. That's who you were. You were that girl. I mean, it had to be like the first 2 months or so. You were running the station. That was who you are. I forget his name that was with you. He was a senior, but we were freshmen.
Yes.
He went on to B103. But yeah, you were that girl.
I appreciate you saying that. I didn't really remember that until you wrote it. And I said, oh my gosh, I really was running around acting like I had some status.
And you were like, are you sure you know what to do? You know how to press this button? Because I was like, I was on another radio station. So when I came to the college, I was like, what is this? What is going on here? Yeah. And you told me what to do, and I'll never forget that.
They had it rigged up so special in there, but once you got it, okay?
Right, exactly. Once you got it, you got it. And so what are you doing now?
So now I have my own company. I represent a few different artists. I work with a few different companies like consulting. Originally, well, the start of my entertainment career, when I came to LA, I had an internship at BMI.
Okay.
That internship turned into a job like 3 months in. God is amazing. And if you know anything about PROs like ASCAP, CSAC, BMI, those companies are hubs. Everybody has to go through them. So songwriters, artists, lawyers, managers, publishers, you literally deal with just about everybody in the music industry through those offices.
Yeah.
So having that be my beginning, and what we just talked about, me hustling and figuring stuff out, it was literally like, it was such a blessing because I got to build rapport with a bunch of different people and make a whole bunch of moves. So now it's like I have a good rapport. I know a few good things, about how to move in this industry. I might as well work for myself. So I started working for myself.
So you started working for yourself, and I know it's going well.
Thank you.
You have this like piece, and I want people to follow you on Instagram. Do you mind if they follow you on Instagram?
Absolutely not. Go ahead.
Tell them what the Instagram is and tell them how to get the book. We're going to go into that as well before we jump into it.
The Instagram is Ty, Ty McKery, McKery. That's pretty much on all platforms. It's the same name. And the book is actually on Amazon. So it's called Talk to You Nice. If you type in my name or Talk to You Nice, it comes up on Amazon and you can purchase it, which Prime account and get it to you immediately.
Absolutely. That Prime works wonders.
Doesn't it?
I'm like, hey, just got here that fast. Listen, I want to go back to your upbringing.
Okay.
Because we don't just start being good people. It's actually in us. It's brought up with us. And so let's talk about your parents and your upbringing and what was that family life like for you growing up?
So I am a pastor's daughter.
Mm.
I became that at 8 years old. My father was a minister before that. And my grandmother was a missionary. Okay. His mother was. So my childhood was doing, my puppy's here. My childhood was doing, feeding the needy. And not just in a way that was for show. Like I said, my grandmother had a mission. So we've always had benevolence instilled in us to give back, to share, to appreciate what you have and be a helping hand where you can.
Absolutely.
So because that was kind of like my foundation as a child, and it actually matches my personality, it's been takeoff ever since. I lived in Oklahoma from 8 to 16. Mm-hmm. So that's how I'm a little bit Cali, a little bit country. And
I think from Cali or country either way, because their family's from the South. So
thank you.
No matter if it's from LA to Oakland, y'all all country. So and I can say that because all of my family's in LA and Oakland, so it's all up and down the Bay. And
it is. Everybody out here is 1 or 2 generations away from the sticks.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
So the fact that I was in Oklahoma for a little while, it really gave me those Southern/Midwest foundational elements of take your time, slow down, enjoy life, pray harder. It's okay to love God. Yes. And so by the time I got into the music industry, that's so deep in me, it didn't go nowhere.
It didn't go anywhere. And that's a powerful thing because when you get out to LA, I lived in LA for 7 years, and I'm surprised I didn't run across you in LA.
I know, right?
That's so crazy. I probably would have benefited from people like you. But it was such a horrible experience. But I knew, but I said, I gotta get up out of here. And my acting mentor, I'll never forget, he said, Phil, you don't Malik Yoba, he's my actor, y'all know that. He said, don't move to LA. I don't want you to move to LA. And I was like, I'm going to be a star. That was the worst experience of my life. So,
well, why?
We'll talk about this. Ain't about me. This is about but you know what? It wasn't for me. It wasn't I guess it was the people I was around. I wasn't around enough grounded people who knew God and who understood who God was. And I didn't understand it's almost like I lost myself there. I lost myself. And you have to have a group of people and we could talk about that. You have to have a group of people who know God, who are actually grounded, especially in the entertainment industry.
So, Jesus. So, 2 things. First, I have a theory, but I'll share the theory in a moment about a lot of what happens with people in LA. Well, I'll share it first. LA happens to be a place where most people are transplants.
Yes.
A lot of the people here, not all, but a lot of the people here moved here expecting to accomplish something. Yeah. So they don't come here to build relationships. They don't come here to marry. They don't come here to invest in friendships properly. They left all their best friends. They left their home. They left their families. And so they're here to hustle. So usually the foundational elements of a lot of the relationships that you'll make in LA have to do with hustle. And if somebody is greedy to a certain degree or depending on how savage they are about their hustle, it will reflect in your relationship with them because they're not here for that.
They're not here for that. Oh, that's a very good point. I never thought about it like that.
They're not here for
because they don't care about you.
No,
unless you have. Well, I did have some good mentors. They were grown though. They were, they have families and kids. But when you're right. That is I never thought about it like that. And New York is like that too. But New York, you can find more of a communal ground. You find people, a good church home. You find people where you can connect with. I guess maybe because we're more, we have to walk past each other. It's a more community space here. Yeah. That's a very powerful point.
The understanding of. Okay, so how I got this understanding? You see my puppy on my lap?
Show us your puppy. I know people want to see the puppy. Boogie. Don't knock over the device, puppy whoopee.
Hey, hello to the people. Hey. So, okay. So I was at Clark, and a couple things were happening. I think you'll remember this. They raised tuition. I happened to fall into that FAFSA group of children who, if it seemed like your parents make enough for you to be able to be here and not need financial aid, I needed it. So in my mind, I said, okay, well, if I just go back to Cali, I'm still quote unquote an in-state resident and it's cheaper. Plus, I want to work in the music industry. I love Atlanta, but it was everyone in Atlanta, even though Atlanta was popping in 2003. We're talking, that's the year.
It was popping.
Confessions came out during our freshman year, if you remember that.
Yeah.
Our freshman orientation, didn't Jermaine Dupri and
no, Ludacris came. Ludacris. Oh no, I think it was Jermaine Dupri.
It was Jermaine Dupri.
Shaka Zulu.
To Atlanta.
Shaka Zulu and all his connections came. They all came. So Shaka played a huge role. And shout out to Jamal and Shaka. He brought all those people. So I'm really cool with them now. But yeah, that whole industry, they were blowing up. Everybody who was somebody was at Clark Atlanta, and they were in Atlanta at the time. Yes.
So at the time, I was like, okay, cool. But what I noticed was a lot of them were going to LA to do more of the business exploits. Right. Creative was happening more so in Atlanta, but the business was really still popping in New York and LA, primarily LA. So I was like, okay, if this is what I want to do, I need to be there. Came to LA and just literally hit the ground running. Again, we've already talked about how I was at 18. Yeah. So hit the ground running, made some connections. I got a phone number to either Jay Brown or Malik Levy at BMI. Jay Brown, we know is Rockefeller. And I just pestered the both of them until somebody said, come get this paperwork for this internship. And I said, amen. And I did it. But I say that to say, I was so focused on getting into the industry. And I had some friends here that were from home. So I didn't really have as much of a terrible time finding a network of people that actually cared about me. It wasn't until I got deeper into my job and creative, and I thought everyone was the same way, that I started to get disappointed and experience like, oh, we're not friends because you're nice to me. You're nice to me because I have a job in an office that could benefit you.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know. So I said that to say that's when I kind of developed the theory of, oh, you're not here for this. You're not here for a relationship. You're not here for friendship. You're not here for necessarily even romance. You know how people say it's hard to marry in LA? So once I realized that, it was like, oh, okay. Then I know how to navigate this. And that's when I started to learn how to really put God first.
Absolutely.
Putting
him first changes everything.
Putting people first will disappoint you every time.
Yeah, because we really have to, and I've learned that as well. Just put God first and he'll show you exactly where you need to go and what you need to do. He really will. What's the importance of having, and we're going to jump into the book. Why is it so important to have a relationship with God, in your opinion?
It is in my experience, it is the only constant. What I mean by that is that people, even with the best of intentions, are people. Flawed, people. I don't want to say anything negative, but people. I think the reason for building a relationship with God is because it will stick with you when people don't. It will stick with you when situations change. It will benefit you when you're at your lowest, and it will clap for you when you're at your highest. So when people forego that, it kind of makes me sad, which is also a reason why I wrote the book. It makes me sad because life is going to life, but unless you have foundational principles that can carry you through any moment, even the good stuff, because you could be how they say it's lonely at the top.
Yeah.
Because everybody isn't necessarily happy for you to be at the top.
Absolutely. And it's going to be some haters.
Yeah.
Haters. And you have to push through that.
Once you get everything that you've been working for, what's left?
What's left is God.
So it's like at the end of the day, the common denominator for every resolution you need actually is God.
Absolutely.
And that's the only thing that never runs dry. The fountain that never runs dry. It continues to feed you. It continues to nurture you. God is not jealous of you. When it says he's jealous for you, it's more about the fact of having a relationship with me is the best thing for you. That's why I want you to have it so bad. So when we talk about like the years of experience I've had, especially in the entertainment industry, the friends that I have, the people that I know, I've seen some people get everything that a lot of us would absolutely fall on our face for. And still be empty.
And still be empty. And I think that's one of the reasons why I have not gotten the success that I want. I've had a lot of success, and you have too, but we can be at a higher level. But I think God has to take us through these steps so we can be grateful, so we won't kill ourselves, and not, it's so many things, it's so many factors to us taking it step by step and allowing God to use us and use our lives, right?
I have friend that passed away in 2021. Using this as an example, she was a little wild. That's the best way to say it. Right. And she ended up being a stylist for Kendrick.
Okay.
And that opened a lot of doors. She has a credit on the Good Kid, Good Kid, Mad City album. Okay. A lot of credits. This was my bestie at the time, but she started to when you get access to certain levels, you become, you gain access to other things. That's the best way to say it.
It's a certain level, certain different devils. It's a whole nother category of evil spirits.
Real.
And it's real.
It's real. It's real. Not, I know that people say it and it sounds commonplace,
but it's real.
It's real.
And this is coming from an executive who you are in the industry. You have been in the industry for a long time. And I'm sure you've seen some things.
So with that said, she passed away in 2021 of a drug overdose. Okay. But I'm using her as an example because she was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. But she got opportunities to be in certain places and she wasn't fortified and settled in herself. And it's what you talk about. Like when there's an opportunity to experience the next level, if you're not grounded and fortified, sometimes depending on what your calling is, I believe that God will withhold some things because you're not ready to be presented with the options that will come with the next level yet.
And it's nothing, and I believe that he loves his children, but he has certain, this is me talking, I believe he has certain children that we have missions to do, and he can't allow us to go out there unprotected and unshielded, and we just have half of the armor. Yeah. And I'm talking about putting on the whole armor. Like he really has to prepare us with the whole armor. And if we're not, then he is not going to send us to those places. But I believe he fortifies us to where we can get to the next level.
I think that's grace. I think that's his love for us. Like imagine being like a 2-year-old, like taking a 2-year-old and sitting it in the middle of Disneyland alone. Without tutelage, without clarity, without knowledge, without understanding. Imagine that. Right. That wouldn't be kind. I mean, it's Disneyland, so you expect to enjoy it, but it wouldn't be kind to just drop somebody unprepared, unknowledgeable, unable to take care of themselves in the middle of Disneyland and tell them to enjoy themselves. I love it. He got no money. He can't buy a churro. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Absolutely. I love that churro.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the turkey leg, he can't get none of the stuff he's looking at. The parade might scare him because he's alone. So it's like when you are like, God, release me, give me this, take me to this next level. Okay, but are you recognizing that you may be the 2-year-old in Disneyland alone if I do this to you?
I never looked at it like that. I love that.
So it's like, sometimes it's grace. When you're 16, you can go to Disneyland by yourself, but we have to, without sounding too churchy, it's important to mature in your relationship with God.
Oh, it really is.
To have one and be like, oh, I've been going to church all my life. No, to develop in your discernment, your ability to talk to him, to take things to him, to trust his word, to say no to the good stuff so you can get to the God stuff. Absolutely. Like all those things are important. That's what makes you the 16-year-old in Disneyland or even the 25-year-old in Disneyland as opposed to the 2-year-old.
Because you're not the Ty that was 18 in church, and I'm not the Philip who was 18. It's a whole different experience, life experiences. We're all different level.
You want to know about that? I as a PK, I know it sounds like, oh, well, you've been saved all your life. I quit church. I left.
Yeah.
18. The entire time we were in Atlanta, I never went to church.
Why is that?
Well, as a PK, I experienced church more than God sometimes.
Wow.
So there were business meetings, there were people's opinions, there were comments, things that are said. As a PK, you experience a lot. You know a
And
lot.
you know, church behind the scenes is not church
Baby.
in the audience. And it's so funny you mentioned that because I'm going to seminary school, and I just told one of the people I said, well, I don't want to work at my church because I don't want it to stain what I feel about my church. Because if I know what's really going on behind the scenes, you'd be like, okay, I don't really want to go here. But that's with anything, though. Once you get the truth behind people and how they act and who they are, that's where grace comes in. That's where the maturation level comes in. You understand, like, okay, maybe it's not them. Maybe it's something demonic in them that's making them feel that, right? That's what it is. I see exactly what you're saying.
That's why I said earlier, people are people.
People are people. And you have to look at them like that, especially being a Christian. You have to have that perspective.
David killed somebody because he had sex with his wife.
Right.
And couldn't trick him into doing it.
Exactly.
Noah got drunk as soon as he got off the ark.
Yeah.
Moses was like, not only do I not want to do this, I stutter. Okay, get somebody else to do it. Get somebody else to do it. We're airing it.
Right.
I say people are flawed. And my pastor is Darius Daniels, and he talks a lot about don't sanitize the Bible. And what I love about that is that sometimes we put these biblical characters in positions and we hold them to such a stand. And it's like, no, you get to see their flaws if you really read it.
Right.
Tamar dressed up like a prostitute to get Judah to sleep with her.
Yeah.
But God can still use these people. So if we do that, I'm not saying that we get to be out here wild and crazy, but what I am saying is that the human experience is full of ups and downs.
Absolutely.
And at 18, I didn't understand that because I thought church people were supposed to be perfect. But what I realized is God is perfect, and we are all here on earth imperfect, but working towards perfection that will come when he comes.
Absolutely. And the church is a hospital. We're gonna be preaching all day. Let's jump into this book.
Okay.
And talk to you nice. Why did you decide to write this book?
Okay. Okay. So I got a Facebook memory from like 5 years ago that really kind of made this full circle for me. I have been writing affirmations for a long time and didn't realize how long I've been doing it. I went through some courses, some ministry training courses, and it kind of taught me how to exegete the text. Amen. Yeah. So, so when I went through those courses, I understood how to read the Bible differently, how to see things differently, how to pull meat from it, how to use concordance to understand this word means this and this word means this and all that kind of stuff. So I say that to say, I've had some issues where there wasn't a friend I could call. Times when there wasn't a job that was available, times where it's like literally like you and God. And in those moments, if you don't have somebody else to call, can you speak over yourself? If there's no one to pray, can you pray? Do you know how to open your Bible and find a word or a passage and sit with the words and understand what God is saying directly to you and not through somebody else? And in the time originally about 5 years ago when I started doing this, that was really pertinent for me. Getting to a place where I could speak over myself and I wasn't necessarily dependent on other people like, oh, can you pray for me? Oh, can you give me a word? You have the Bible. Right. And you have the relationship. You should be able to use that for you. I think,
you should be able to.
You should be able to. So the heart behind the book was realizing that I can do this and I've been doing this and it's been blessing me. But I know that there are so many people who aren't able to do that yet. So the book is very long because it's supposed to create an appetite in you to just start doing it for yourself.
I love it. I love it. You sent me some excerpts and I really love it. I can't wait to get the book. And I want to read day 2 where it says it won't be long. It says time. 1 minute you wish you had more, and the next you're begging it to move along so you can get to the good part. Well, what if we got better at accepting that the win of a thing isn't always something we can control? Life isn't a microwave. This is I've been reading them back and forth. What does that mean to you? Life isn't a microwave.
We live in a society where if you want to watch a TV show, you can sit down and binge all of it.
Yes.
Well, you like it. You don't have to Remember, like when we were younger, and it would be like,
You have to wait till next Friday.
No, IF, you had to wait to see.
Yes, I was just thinking that you have to wait till Family Matters, and we got to wait the whole week. Yep.
You had to wait, and now, if you want to see somebody, you don't even have to wait for them to give you their number. You can get on Instagram and call people.
You can research instantly. Yeah.
So everything in our lives right now is kind of at our fingertips for the most part. And as technology grows, AI, our consciousness suggests that things have to happen on our time when we want them to happen, how we want it to happen immediately. And if it doesn't happen quick enough, there's a problem. If I go to an app on my phone and it doesn't load fast enough, it's a problem. I'm now frustrated. What's wrong with my phone? It didn't happen in 2 days.
Right.
And life doesn't work like that. If you plant a seed, you still got to give it some seasons to grow.
Wow. Give it some seasons to grow. I love how the Lord just does things, because I just got through talking about seasons on my last show and you brought that up. Cool. Let's go to this. It says day 6, I let them go. It says it's wild to think about it, but Jesus didn't chase Judas. After identifying him as the one who betrayed him, he didn't run out into the night after him. Is that to say we shouldn't go after people who we know could be a danger to themselves? And then you gave a little short, repeat after me. It says, I release anyone not assigned to me from my life. I hold no grudges and bear no ill will toward anyone who can no longer be by my side. That's day 6. I let them go. Why is that so important, to let them and things go?
There's a passage in Matthew that talks about when Jesus was talking to the disciples and he was telling them to go places and speak of him. If they don't receive you, leave, knock the dust off your shoes and keep it pushing.
Wow.
And it's not harsh to say that. I think that we celebrate relationships like, oh, they've been together 20 years. Oh, the friendship has lasted since the uterus. But but the truth of the matter is that sometimes people can be called into different spaces.
Yes.
It doesn't even have to always be negative. And we have to be okay with God's decision to alter our atmosphere. If someone can't stay, you don't get to keep them because you want to. Are they assigned to you? Are they supposed to be there? And again, I don't want it to always come with a negative connotation, but the Judas part is interesting because if you read John's perspective of that night, what he wrote about it, it's in the Gospels, but in the John depiction of it, he literally says he gave him bread, identifying him as the betrayer. Then he looked at him, and when he saw that the enemy had entered him, he said, whatever you're going to do it quickly. Whatever you're going to do it quickly. Judas got up, walked out, and then they had the Last Supper. God had a purpose and an assignment. He couldn't stop that supper to go chase Judas.
Right.
And so sometimes as Christians, if we're using Christ as our example, sometimes we're chasing people. We're trying to hold on to relationships. You're talking your neck off. You're blowing your mind with how to get this person to see your perspective, understand, come back. Are you supposed to be doing that? Have you prayed about the relationship?
Have you prayed about it?
And once you pray about it, if the answer is release them,
release them. And you can't, and when you follow God and you ask God to order your steps, you cannot get mad at God when things don't go the way you want it to go. Because you ask God to direct your path, right? And I had to deal with myself with this. I said, God, well, I need you to order my steps. Well, why you didn't do it the way I wanted? You asked me to order your steps, bro, and I'm trying to tell you where to go. You can't get mad at God for that because he knows what's best for you. We don't. Okay. We don't know what's best for us, but go ahead.
I'm gonna share a quick little story. I'm gonna try to be short-winded because I've been long-winded. But there's very quickly, there is the friend that I had, right? We were tight. She was by my side. She started to just not be. I was dragging her to church. At this time, I started going back to church. I was dragging her to church with me. I was praying with her. I was praying for her. But again, people have to make their own decisions and have their own relationship.
Right.
Sometimes people are protected because of your covering. And are they supposed to be under your covering?
Wow.
What aren't you able to access because you insist on being at this level with them and God is calling you to higher, trying to pull you up? Long story short, I prayed really heavy. Went to one church in LA. They used to have Tuesday night prayer house.
Church with Pastor Touré?
Pastor Touré, yes.
Yeah.
They used to have this Tuesday night where you could just go and pray. Okay. It was empty. There was no sermon. It was just soft music and go in there and pray. Church is open. I went in there and I was praying really hard. And I was like, God, what's going on with my friend? And I want this and I want this and heal her in this way. I promise you, I heard it clear as day. God said, let her go.
Wow.
That was the hardest thing. I cried so much that night. By the time we did the corporate prayer all together, snot was coming down my nose. It was ugly because I didn't want to.
But you
But
had
what
to.
I
Yeah.
said that was that she was making certain decisions and she was doing certain things, and God wouldn't have been able to use me for what he wanted to use me for if we were still yoked together.
Right.
And I said that to say when I found out she passed, it was the saddest thing ever. But that was also a moment where, and I hope this comes across properly, that was also a moment where what would have happened to me had I stayed? Mm-hmm. Obedience probably saved my life.
And obedience is very important. And you have to listen. And I believe that we all have that gift for God tells us what to do. Even if you're in the world and not like us in church all the time, God will tell you what to do. And it's either you're going to listen or you're not going to listen. There is no in between when it comes to God. It is bam, bam. This is what I'm telling you what to do. And it's like, oh, well, I think he should tell. No, he told you what to do. You can't rationalize. If he tells you to do, you need to do it. You need to do it. And we need to stop trying to rationalize. Oh, well, God, no, I'm telling you what to do. And you need to move on. And I've had an experience like that too, like you, where I had to move on. You got to move on because it's the best to do.
And like I said, we as humans, we look at it as, oh, you left, or oh, you walked away, or oh, that's ending. And it's always a negative connotation to when a season, a relationship ends. And that's not biblical. That's not biblical, because even when Jesus said, I go so that I can prepare a place for you, was it bad that he left the disciples, or did he need to go so he could do what he was supposed to do?
And the crazy part about it, the disciples, when he left, I mean, they all got killed. The majority, I think one of them only walked away. I think Philip was the one who actually walked away and lived a long life. They all got killed, martyred. And so, but they had a purpose, and we believe that they went on to something else and something greater. But they all had a purpose, and he had to leave them.
I say that to say this: at the end of the day, everybody in the Bible had to go somewhere. Abraham, get out of your father's house, go to the land that I've shown you, and I will make you great.
Yes.
Jacob, when he got blessed, he had to leave his mother and father. Rachel told, I think it was, not Rachel, Rebecca was his mother. Rebecca said, go to the land I'm from to get your wife, because you're not going to be with these Canaanite women like your brother did. So, so I say that to say, if God has an assignment for you that calls you into your next, or into another season, or into another space, or around new people, you can't be so, and I'm going to use the term I want to use, you can't be so hell-bent, because I believe that's what it is, on holding on to situations, seasons, people, and atmosphere because you're comfortable there, or because you like it there, if he says go, who are you to say no? Jonah?
And you have no idea. I read Jonah recently, like the entire, and he pissed me off, but that's a whole other situation. I've been trying to read the Bible fully, like chapter by, and some of these people getting on my nerves in the Bible. Read the Bible, y'all. It's like, why did you do that? Like, God told you to.
That means you're reading it right, because the Bible is not a cute book. It's not
a cute book. I'm like, why did you do? And then it made me mad, because I'm like, is this it? You start reading like, what out? Where's the rest of it? I want to go to day 7 in the book.
Let's go.
And I don't want and I'm gonna go to the part where you says repeat after me. You say, God gave me a gift, and the day 7 is called I'm Me Regardless. God gave me a gift, and I'm going to use it whenever he presents me with the opportunity. My gift will make room for me, so I will protect and value it. I will nurture this gift God gave me. I will protect this gift God gave me. I will give glory to God when I use my gift, and he will bless me in return. I am grateful for my gift. I am proud of my gift. My gift will put me before kings, and I will tell them God is the source of it. What does that mean to you? And explain that to the audience for us.
It means everything. If we talk about mental health a little bit, which is a hot topic in society at the moment, you can be around a lot of people that are quote unquote toxic or narcissistic, and they don't necessarily want you to thrive and be all that you're supposed to be. If we use Joseph as an example, he told his brothers, hey, I had a dream that y'all are going to bow to me. Now, I'm not saying he should necessarily told them that.
Right.
I feel like that was between him and the Lord. But after he told them, they were like, oh, well, if you in this pit, that's not really possible, is it? Like, you know what I mean? Right. So, I think that it's important to recognize when you have a gift. His was interpreting dreams. And in the passage before that, I talked about once he got into prison, he went through a lot. a lot that should have communicated to him, stop using that dream. Stop using that gift. Let it go.
Stop telling people.
The first time you interpreted a dream was your own, and it got you in a pit and then sold into slavery. Now you in jail, and you still interpreted dreams. How dare you? The audacity of you. But that's what we're supposed to do.
Right.
When God gives you a gift, you're not supposed to sit on it.
Right.
The parable of the talents. One who got 5 multiplied them. The one who got 2 multiplied them. The one who got 1 buried it. Like, oh, I thought I made it safe.
Right.
No, you hid it. I didn't give you that for you to bury it, to sit on it. Whatever your gift is, whatever God has instilled in you, even if it's just, and I won't say just because no gift is unimportant, but even if it's cooking, you better cook, feed people. If your gift is communication like yours is, you better have this platform. And I think that it's important, like I said, for us to maintain that, because life, people, situations, the enemy will use almost anything to dissuade you from using what God gave you, because you were created to be the answer to a problem. Your gift is the answer.
That is powerful. Your gift is an answer to a problem.
It's an answer.
It really is. And you never know how your gift is going to save one person, and one person's life can save an entire generation. It can save an entire generation, but you don't know that, because we're not God and we don't know everything. But if we use our gifts and we use our talents for his glorification and for his purpose, and it'll work out the way it's supposed to be.
And the part where it says, the Bible literally says it'll put you before kings. That doesn't necessarily mean you won't be in Britain with King Charles.
But it might put you in front of the president of the United States, or might put you at the head of major corporations.
It could put you in front of a president of a company. It could put you on your social media in somebody's living room, and you don't even know what king is watching you. You might have 12 views, but what if 10 of those 12 are kings?
Let me tell you this story. And before you came on, I thought about this.
Yes.
An executive of a major network hit me up. They said, Phil, I've been watching your shows. Now, mind you, we live in entertainment world. So our things are numbers, right? You expect 20,000 hits, 30,000 hits. I have maybe 150, 2,000, it's here or there. And executive, they said, we've been watching your stuff. And I said, oh my.
Oh my.
And so, hey, we want you to come in and test for this so-and-so. You don't know what's going to happen to you. When you put God first, your entire life could be changed because one person saw an interview, one person heard you sing, one person read a book. So we cannot allow ourselves to be caught up on what the world thinks popular, and because the world is not, it's God's word, everything in it, right? The world and they that dwell therein is the Father's.
Nowhere in the Bible does it say, wait until people approve you and clap for you real loud, and then God will bless you. It don't say that.
It doesn't say that.
What it says is, if you lift it up, I'll draw all men to me. What it says is, if you give him glory, he'll bless you. Right. So how do we give God glory? One way we give God glory is by not shrinking. That's a way to, because he made you, right? He made that, right? So if you're hiding elements of him that he gave you, then you're basically saying, not only do I not want this, but you were wrong in giving it to me.
Right.
And God isn't wrong. So if he gave you the ability to play golf really well, you better go play golf. If he gave you the ability to read exponentially fast, maybe you're supposed to be an editor or a book publisher. We don't know. But there's not just singing and dancing and acting, which we put premise on, we celebrate, or athletes. You could have a gift of nurturing and be somebody who goes to the hospital and holds the babies that are abandoned.
Right.
That's a gift.
That's a gift. Yeah. And I forgot they did things like that. That's a huge thing where people can hold babies who are drug babies.
Yeah, because your babies
changes them. They need that comfort.
They'll pass away. A baby will pass away if it's not loved, which is a whole nother topic, because I don't believe that you grow up as an adult and lose the need for that. But I say that to say the reason why that's so impactful in using Joseph's story is because Joseph had every reason to be like, dreams. What? That's a crazy word. I don't even dream. What's a spell dream? I don't want to talk about it. But he didn't. He two people's dreams, and he didn't give them good news. One of the guys, he said, you're going to die. So he was still being bold with his gift and being honest with his gift. And it turns out that a king had a dream that needed interpreting, and someone who he had met Joseph said, you know what? It's this guy that I met in jail. He probably know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That happened. He goes to the king. He goes to the palace. He interprets the dream, and he becomes second in command over Egypt.
Wow.
And I'm saying that to say, the Bible is I believe that the Bible is instruction for how we're supposed to live. And what that spoke to me was to say to everyone, you have a gift. Again, stop looking at the big ones. You may not be Beyonce. That's fine. Be the Beyonce of your world. Okay?
Right.
Be the Beyonce of your world.
You don't know the hell Beyonce going through. You don't know what she's doing. You don't know what her parents went through. You have no, and stop living off everybody. You don't know what people pay for where they are right now. You don't know what that woman's going through.
You don't know the cost of the oil. You don't know.
There you go. You don't know the cost of people wanted to be Whitney Houston, but Whitney Houston was going through hell. A living hell. And I love Whitney, and that's my girl. We don't know. We don't know. So stop comparing yourselves to other people.
That's why I see all the time, like, oh, I gotta wait till this and I gotta wait till that. I've talked about a lot in this interview, human imperfections, and it's not to be pessimistic, but it's to say, get out of your own way by looking left and right. Get off of Instagram assuming that everybody who got matching J's and goes on vacation every 3 days is living. Stop.
Yeah.
What did God give you? What can you do with it today? And maybe, just maybe, not even maybe, let me take that back. What did God give you? What can you do with it today? And then in time, when that seed bust open and that fruit come out, it's gonna be amazing. But you can't do it unless you plant the seed. You got to start tilling the ground.
Ty, what a wonderful episode. We've went over time, but I'm grateful for it. This is perfect. Listen, I want you to leave my audience with a final thought. Okay, I'm gonna step off screen. I want you to leave my final. Okay, and then tell them how to get your book as well.
Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in. This has been amazing. I want to say, as a final thought, life is life. It's good. It's up. It's down. It's hard. It's life. And the one thing that I want to leave you guys with knowing is that God also knows that life is life. He loves you. He cares for you. He has a plan for you. And if you would allow for him to come into your life and to love on you the way he wants to, as a real, real, real good father, you will experience more joy, more up, more happiness, more peace than you could ever imagine. So that's my last thought. And buy the book on Amazon.
Now tell them how to get them on Amazon. Tell them again, and how to follow you as well.
Log into Amazon, type in Ty McKery, TYMCKERY, or Talk to You Nice, and the book is available. It's about $7.99. It's not going to break your bank, but I encourage you to get it through the process.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ty McKery. Hold tight for me in the green room, all right?
Cool beans.
We had a great show with Ty. Listen, God can do exceedingly and abundantly. She told you that. Be yourself, trust yourself, and trust God. You're listening and watching Phil and Friends right here on WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem. I'll see you next time. Peace.